but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com. Mike and Jay. The Big E is here. Shalom, E. Jay, how are you, my friend?
Hey, yo, I am good.
Good. Well, what now, E?
Oh, nothing. Nothing. No, well, I can say what I was going to say, but I
go
realized
ahead.
that I meant to say it earlier to Jay that I have a grievance. Sometimes we do grievances on Monday.
Oh, well, Jesus.
Well,
So-
sounds
I personally
important.
don't. I'm happy as a clam today, but if you have a grievance, well, a grievance is found, E, and it must be stated.
Well, I mean, he brought it up so fast
I
as we
know.
were doing the
You know
intro.
what, dude?
mean,
I
it
forget
makes,
sometimes.
Makes it sounds like it might be something we need to address almost immediately.
Needs to get off his chest,
mean,
you think?
The last thing I need is him in his stew all day worrying about this grievance.
God.
You know what I mean?
Do we want to do that, E?
Sure, if you want.
Well,
I
okay.
mean,
Well,
you
the
started
rules
this.
of airing grievances are simple. We want to remind any new listeners. The purported aggrieved individual shall have 30 seconds in which to state his alleged grievance. At the conclusion of said time period, the remaining members of the Detroit Cast shall pass judgment. Now, the grievance shall be judged to have either asserted a bona fide grievance. I doubt that because this is Big E.
Right.
Or he's just simply being a pussy and or an old man.
Can I air a quick grievance before we get to ease?
Yeah,
Now
give
that
me
he
the grievance
mentions it.
clock, though.
Yeah.
I'm turned down.
Yeah. You should be up. Well, my grievance is with people, and I know it's kind of a narrow window here, but people that interrupt me in the middle of an intro to a show or to a bit, it can really throw me off of what I'm trying to, like, where I'm going. I've got a train of thought, and I'm easily rattled. And so I really count on people surrounding me to let me go where I'm going before stating something. I know it's kind of a narrow grievance, but that's really the biggest bitch
So you're
I
talking to
have
all
today.
the radio hosts out there of our listeners?
Well, I mean, it was just, it just hit me in the moment.
So succinctly stated, you're grieving the fact that individuals in the room are unprofessional.
Well, yeah, in a sense.
Gotcha.
I don't know how you guys would deem that, if that's
I think that's a bona fide grievance. Yeah.
excellent. E?
Pussy and an old man. You're the professional, as you constantly tell me. I'm
Well-
a retard. No. You guys can't have your cake and eat it too. If I'm a retard, I'm a retard.
Jesus,
So-
you need to listen to the first 15 seconds of this show.
I know.
Okay.
No, it was terrible.
Mike bounced it back to me
I know.
from you
I
to
know.
me.
Yeah.
I said I was doing well,
Well, retard
to
is a
quite well,
retard.
or whatever I said, and then you go, dude. Forget it.
I know. No, it wasn't.
That's
I know.
how we start the show with you going, dude. No,
I know. It was
oh,
stupid.
Forget it.
If
It
there's
was-
a new listener that was like, fine, I'll give it a shot. I'll listen to this show
They're
today.
gone.
They're
See ya.
gone. They're gone. They're
I
like,
know.
oh, these guys are
Honestly, I
hacks.
do regret it. I do regret it.
Yeah.
Well, how does that help us? Your regret.
Nothing. That's
No.
just all I can do is say it.
All right.
All right,
Grieve.
this better be a fucking grievance, dude.
Look at people that talk in their cell phones while they're in line at the store. I was at Rite Aid the other day, and I'm in line with 4 other people, and she's on her phone loudly babbling on about something going on in her life. Dude, if you want to walk around even, Meyer, I don't even mind that. But once you are about to get into line with people, can you not say, look, I'm about to be in line. I'll call you back in 10 minutes. It's just so ridiculous that I have to sit here and listen to this lady's phone conversation while I'm in line at the Rite Aid. And people do that a lot, I feel like.
I completely disagree with your grievance. I like when people do that because it
Yeah.
entertains me. I'm standing in line. There's nothing else to do except look at my phone. I'd rather listen in on some
Okay.
asshole's conversation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, was her conversation entertaining? E? Was
No,
it,
it
on
was.
any-
Okay, well, no, it
I
wasn't.
thought you
because
were,
this is what I'm-
hold on. I thought you
Okay.
were going to get up to the clerk and the lady was still on the phone and she's delaying the line. No, she's entertaining you, you
She's
son of a
No,
bitch.
no, you know what?
entertainment.
Okay, you're right. You know what? If there was somebody having some awesome conversation about, I don't know, maybe some drama going on, like someone was cheating or this or that, I guess that'd be one thing.
I
dude.
think E has found a new category of grievances.
Which is?
Opposite of grievance. It's
No.
a good thing.
It's not. No, dude. No, it was not.
He has
no,
grieved a
no.
good thing.
No. When I'm sitting,
would like to
fuck
air-
you.
I
No,
would like
shut the fuck up, man.
whoa.
When I'm sitting here,
I'm
I
gonna
would
you
like to
know,
air
you
about
all-
something that's awesome.
I prefer to air a non-grievance today.
No, no.
Non-grievance to air.
No. If you were, are you kidding me? If you were sitting in line, you're in the Rite Aid on a Saturday with this middle-aged white woman babbling on about soccer practice
What's
or
the
something.
downside? You can just sit there and go, what a bitch, what an idiot, blah, blah, you know?
Yeah, that is bullshit for you to sit here and say that wouldn't bother you. That is ridiculous.
Dude, what is more fun than getting to eavesdrop on someone's conversation, whether they're on a
Legally.
plane, legally, where it's like, hey, man, I'm just doing my thing. I don't need to bag up to get out of this conversation. I'm stuck here in line,
Just
and this
gonna
idiot's
listen.
going on and on about.
that is ridiculous, man. I can't even believe that you're going to sit here and say that this doesn't.
Again, it's not affecting your life. If she was delaying
None of
the
these
clerk,
things. Most of these
if she was delaying the line somehow, I would be with you, dude. That's bullshit.
It's a great point.
Okay, okay.
If
She's
she was on the
not.
phone
she's just
like,
standing there entertaining you with her idiocy.
and the
That
lady's
is
going, your total's $346, ma'am, and she's going, hold on. Yes, Lisa, I know. I'm going to be late to soccer practice. Now, if that was the case, that's a different story.
That's
might have a
ridiculous,
grievance.
dude.
The only grievance you can have in a line.
You guys are so wrong.
You grieved a non-grievance. Don't blame us. The only grievance you should be able to have in the line at the grocer is when someone's there and then they go, "Oh my God, I forgot my eggs. Would you guys mind giving me more?"
Oh, there's more grievances than that. There's the check writer, which I had this morning.
Oh yeah,
And that's the oldest one in the book. I'm not going to go
Right.
through that. But,
Right.
dude, who the hell has a checkbook anymore, let alone stands there at the grocer?
A
and
personal
writes a check?
checkbook. Business, of course,
course.
but a personal check, who the hell? I don't even
Yeah.
really made them anymore. Like,
A personal check that isn't being written exclusively for bills, like to pay the Xfinity bill or something. You're crazy. You're walking around with a checkbook?
yeah.
What?
What? Who does? I don't know who does it, but some people still
it does
do.
happen. I had one happen, I think, a month ago.
E, do you remember specifically what her conversation was?
No, I don't.
You just threw out the blanket.
I remember
white
when
woman
you know
talking
what's
about
funny?
soccer
He's just
practice.
like, I don't like to hear people talk.
You know what's funny? I remember when it was happening, instantly going, "This is awesome! I have a grievance." Like I thought that it
Little
was.
did you know, you don't.
Okay.
E, you need to lean into those moments when you get that unexpected, like, wow, I'm in the middle of this conversation. I'm only hearing half of it. This is amazing.
I love eavesdropping. You're right. To that extent, I guess in that level, I get what you're saying.
It's an opportunity to provide advice to her.
Okay,
Think about
but
it.
I was just going to say,
You know?
dude,
She's being public about it. What's wrong with her then hanging up and you going, ma'am, I couldn't help but hear you've got an issue.
You know
And then
what?
give
You know
her
what's
some
funny?
stupid advice.
Dude, you know what's funny?
if she's like, no, you would not believe what Lisa did. I know she was sipping wine all day at lunch, but then she showed up a half hour late to pick up the girls. It's bullshit, and I don't know what we do about it. But anyways, I'll call you back later. I think at that point you can step in and go, you're right, Lisa is a fucking asshole. How dare she show up late like that?
dare she?
Probably half in the bag. Who does she think she is with our children out there on the road with her? This, ma'am, you got to do something. Like,
Or how
I
about
would
just a
love
simple
to
that,
engage
Lisa
that.
sucks, am I right? How
No,
about that?
no, you know what? You're right.
Little elbow.
To that,
All right, huh?
that aspect, I like the idea of it because I would like her getting. I like the idea that she would get mad.
Yeah, like,
saying,
oh my God, he just listened to my
Well,
conversation.
yeah, you had a
guess what?
conversation in line.
Exactly, Eases. This is a
But
great
see,
opportunity.
but wait a minute. But wait a minute. You're not saying that's annoying?
I'm trying to, honestly, while you're blathering, I am trying to rack my brain for the conversation she could possibly having where I would go, this is an outrage.
Yeah, I
like,
can't-
I don't, even in a foreign language, I think I'd
Okay,
be
well,
like,
you know
all
what,
right,
dude?
all right.
Maybe it's just from my years of working. Honestly, maybe some of this is from my years of working in the retail industry, and just I think it's retarded. I just think it's really annoying when people are on their cell phone, people in their car, and it's like, dude, have the conversation in your car, hang up the phone, and then walk in and do whatever you have to do. I guess I just. From working at Meijer, working at Rite Aid, working at some of these places, and dealing with people on phones, and then they would come up to me. So maybe this is like I said, pent up rage from that. Because as a worker, I would get
This
it.
is an ill-considered grievance-y.
I don't know.
is.
I disagree. But as a worker, I would get that. I would get
you paid-
me doing something, and some person on their phone, and be like, "Oh, excuse me, where is this?" And it's like,
Dude,
Yeah,
you
well,
realize-
that's a different issue, man. You didn't
okay,
grieve that.
Okay, I know,
not
but
even close to that. You grieved a non-grievance.
no, I
as Jay
didn't.
put.
That's ridiculous.
No, it's not. And all the places that you're talking about that you've worked, that the big issue and hang-up is some idiot on their phone in line that you have to overhear an amazing conversation potentially. Let's keep in mind, E, you pulled your dick out in front of a manager at one of these places.
Keep it in mind, E.
You spilled an entire keg, tapped it and opened it
Keep it in mind, E.
all over the floor. So like of all the things that you could grieve about, it's like those people have a real grievance about your behavior.
Real police reports were generated.
Yeah.
okay?
Your mug is on a wall somewhere
In
in
a
a Red
post
Robin.
office.
In a Red Robin right now that says unhireable under any circumstances.
A big red extra, literally. We
That is
know
so
the
beyond-
owners
I-
of the Red Robin, and they
I'm
say if
beyond
you pull
myself. I
up
don't
his
know what this-
name in the database, there's an enormous X. Do not rehire.
I think it's a circle slash in some. I'm not sure if it's half or what, but we should probably send them an updated photo because that was 10 years ago.
I'd love to get a printout of that,
Dude,
a screenshot.
Dude, our boys at the Ansara brothers who own those establishments told us that it's literally written down in a file somewhere that this man is not to be hired under any circumstance. There's actually a file on Big E. Like, those exist.
Well, you pull your dick out in a restaurant, and in
front of a
that'll
manager.
happen.
Whatever, man. I can't even believe it. I remember what, like I said, I just remember when it happened, thinking I was so happy. I'm like, I have a grievance for the show, and
Speaking
the
of
opposite of it.
sausage, Michael Kowalski is reminding you that serving size is just a suggestion. So for your next tailgate, trust your gut with Kowalski sausages. Just tell them Mike sent you, Kowalski quality, for over 97 years.
Dude, I don't know why, but I get so amped for like Lions football day when it's on a Thursday night or a Monday night. And I'm kinda-
amped.
I am. I'm excited. This is a big game, and God, I hope they don't lay an egg. Is there anything worse than when your team goes on national TV and lays an egg?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. But I'm fired up, man. We got that coming up in a few hours. Are you going to watch, Jay?
I'm going to try. Again, though, it's going to require me to watch in real time because
Yeah.
it's so late at night. It's not like I can wait and, turn it on at halftime and DVR and go through it that way. Because
that's a good point. I didn't think about
you
that.
got to kind of watch it in real time. And I'm
Don't
not.
they start at 8:15 though instead of 9 now? Didn't they move
Oh,
that
really?
back a few years?
I don't think so.
That helps.
But then if you wait till 9 before kicking it on, I could be wrong. You look that up. But then you can fast forward through almost the whole
Okay.
game if you have 45 minutes backed up. But
Maybe I'll do that. I don't know.
yeah, you should. It's early in the season. There's no outcomes yet, so I'm excited for it. Anyways,
Optimism is
yeah,
all
we're
over the place.
As Lions fans, we're in that weird period before they haven't done enough to like prove they're good
Yeah.
or they're bad, and so it's like, ooh,
I don't think you look at that first game and you're really fired up about that. Obviously, they came back in the second half, but did they look bad in that
yeah,
first half?
that first half was rough.
But I was listening to Carson Anderson on the way in here, and they were doing
You
a
like
Twitter.
those guys.
I do like those guys. I was listening to them, and they were doing a Twitter poll, just like, "Are the Lions going to win? Yes or no?" And it was like 78% yes. I mean, that's
Really?
I know.
Yeah.
That optimism of fans early in the season, you know.
Dude, it is. It's the early season optimism of a new year. Fresh slate. We got fucked in the first 8 weeks last year when this call went against us and
Yeah.
that play happened and this guy rolled an ankle and turned into a career ender. Like,
I
but
mean, think about what you're doing. You're saying 78% of you out there think that the underdog on the road against a team that lost their first game and
Yeah.
really needs to get
With-
off the schneid really
with
quick.
a two-time winning Super Bowl winning
Yeah.
quarterback at the helm.
that Detroit's going to go in there and just mop it up.
yeah. And didn't we lose to them last year like
Yes.
twice or something? Didn't we play them in
Oh, play them once.
once and then in a playoff or something? I don't know. Well,
Oh, Mike.
I don't remember.
Your favorite sport?
I know.
I didn't say I knew everything about it. I never declared
It
that.
says 8:30 on here.
Oh,
I
but
don't
that's
even
all
know.
the bullshit.
I know. That's what I was gonna say. It
It'll
said,
kick off at 9, right?
right.
I don't-
8:45, 8:50.
I thought they changed that so that it would kick off around 8:30. Don't hold me to that. It's
That's
my
what it
favorite sport,
says
but I don't
here,
know much
but-
about it.
One of your 5 favorite things
God, those
in
those
life.
you talk highly of this Carson Anderson.
Yeah. I
You like
those
them.
guys,
You
yeah.
like them. Have you ever met them? Do you know them?
I don't know them.
Because that seems like a really lame poll to do. I'm sorry. Are the Lions going to
No,
win
they
or
even,
lose
they even said,
tonight?
hey, we're keeping it simple today. Like, boom.
Yeah.
But doesn't that render an interesting outcome?
What, that 78%
Yeah.
would be total homers? Yeah. Detroit tends to be homers. We often talk about, you joke about it, a hockey town.
right.
Right.
As long as the Wings are doing well,
Sure.
we are hockey town, USA.
Yeah. Tell me
Yeah.
about another team. Anyone. Go ahead.
Name
Tell me
one.
about one other team. Just go ahead. Name 3 players off another team.
Yeah, I can't do that. Like hockey town is Detroit. That's what I know.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go to the new arena.
See all the new lights. And
Yep,
the
all the
screens.
posters. Supposed to be really cool there. The seats are nice. I was hearing, by the way, that the sound audio is not as great
Oh, no.
as you would think.
Well, maybe we move it back to the Palace. Shut that place down.
The Palace may have lucked into an amazing sound
They
setup.
did.
Now, there are people listening to me say that right now going, fuck you, dude, it was amazing. What I heard from people that were at that show that were telling me from the other night at our gig that said there were pockets in that arena where the sound was incredible. and there were other pockets where it was just flat shit.
How did they gather that?
Were they in two different places?
They must have been. I don't know that they. It seems like a weird lie to invent. But I heard that the floor was not that well for hearing, but there were certain spots around the bowl that, for whatever reason, the way the stadium's designed,
Well, I know they
the
did a
audio was
lot
really
of work
good.
in the design to make sure that it was good.
Yeah, well, you should go back to the Palace. We
That'd
know
be
that's
fine
good.
with me.
We know the Palace worked well. Anyway, moving on to other things. The Lions don't kick off for hours. Boy, did either of you guys catch any? I know this is a rhetorical. I know you didn't. But the Emmy Awards last night.
No, I saw some of the highlights online. Colbert and Sean Spicer doing a little thing. Everybody just ripping on Trump.
Do these people, honestly, I'm wondering, do these people think they're making headway or something, or is it just like a giant circle jerk about how much, everyone in the room hates Trump? Like, do they think they're doing
It's a circle
something?
jerk. They think they're clever. They think they're hilarious. They think they're high-minded. So much
Yeah.
smarter than those morons who could have voted for him, that outmoded asshole president we have.
I'm just amazed at how much, I get it. Like, Colbert, that show fucking sucked. When he launched, he had, 9 months build up before his first show? And I watched it and went, oh, God, this is a disaster. This show is horrible. And then it was horrible more. And it was like, oh, boy, what are they going to do? Feeling the same way about Megyn Kelly's show. And then the Trump shit happened, and he learned, overnight, oh, God, people love it when I rip on Trump. And now he's the number one show in the country. And so it's just like, hey, this is the formula. Just no matter what, just blast him as hard as you can. The harder, the better.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, oh, he's hosting the Emmys. Oh, great. So we're just going to get one giant long string of rag on Donald Trump. And it followed suit all night from the little bit I watched. Finally, I just shut it off. Dude, I don't need this. But I would think if you were a Democratic leader, you would be going, oh, man, it's not like we had celebrities on Hillary's side last year. We had, all of them. And, the biggest names on the planet. It wasn't like Scott Baio and, Mike Rowe or something. Dude, we had Beyonce and Jay-Z and name them. And it meant jack fuck all in the end. It meant nothing. And in fact, most people point to that as being a negative. Like, these out-of-touch assholes are a negative. So all I can think of this is, kind of keep it going.
But yeah, they get the ratings, and so that feeds the ego, and they think, oh, this is... But in reality, that election showed that most of middle America could give a fuck about them.
Was there ever a time when a celebrity's word, do you think, I'm trying to think of, when it would have mattered. Like, if someone said something where you're like, oh, wow, he's got a point. John Wayne was really making sense up there. I'm voting for whoever. Did they ever hold that much weight as far as, adult people who are making a decision on an office? I just don't know.
Yeah, and I don't remember when that really came to be so in vogue, where celebrities were out front politically. I don't know.
Yeah, and the other thing.
Do you remember that back in the Reagan days that people were speaking out, really?
I remember there would be a band that would perform at an event, or even back then it was like, don't use my music, like Bruce Springsteen or something. If you use Born in the USA or something, would get all hard on about you using his shit. The thing with when I think of celebrities and trendsetters and newsmakers, they tend to be outliers. They tend to be more against the grain, buck the system kind of people. And even if it means you're going to boo me at my own event, Eddie Vedder's not afraid to be booed on stage when in 2002 or 2001 he's blasting George Bush, who's at a 95% approval rating, and he's fucking with him on stage, and he's being booed nightly. And it's like, there's a guy who believes so strongly in what he's doing, man, that he's willing to get his ass booed every night by people that paid big money to see him. And I think of those people, it's such an easy room now. Do you realize, to me, I just look at this room and I go, you guys are so not counterculture. You think you're being cool, man, and counterculture. Do you understand that every person on that stage agrees with every word you're saying?
Yeah, good point.
There's nothing rebellious about you. I would so respect the guy that got up there and went, you know what, man, I've heard 80 of you in a row blast this fucking guy and then say what you feel, and you get booed off the stage. that guy, in my opinion, becomes an instant hero. I mean, that's just my opinion, but it's.
I mean, Bernie Sanders is sort of that guy.
Yeah,
and his supporters.
dude, I laugh so hard, and I love watching the Democrats that are like trying to speak for the party. They're not running for anything, but it's like, oh, he's Democratic spokesperson, and it's like Republicans love doing that. Well, the left has really chosen sides already, and they're really going with Bernie Sanders and really rushing hard to the left, and these people are just like, oh, fuck. It's like, yeah, no, he just believes that everybody should make the same amount of money and everything should be free, school, healthcare, all that. And that's really the side that the left has decided to take.
All these lefties are like, whoa, T.O.
Shit. That's not really what we believe.
Bag it.
Do you care about what any of these people said?
No.
I thought it was kind of funny. When,
People out there might, though, so you might hit one or two.
Good point. I know, I'm talking to a room that just doesn't give a shit about this. It always makes it hard on days like this.
I don't not care. I used to care more, and I think by doing this show more and more now, like we were up in your room there watching the TV for a mile amount, and I used to like Colbert.
You were in Mike's bedroom?
That's what it sounded like to me.
That's it.
The kitchen.
Wanna
Sorry,
clarify?
the kitchen. And I watched 30 seconds of Colbert. And I'm like, you know what? I used to like this guy. I thought he was funny. On and fuck this guy. And so my point is, like, when you start to pay attention every day,
I think most people are like that in the cycle of politics right now. It's like, all right, had enough, man.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of believes what they believe.
But
And,
I kind of do
nauseated.
care. Like, I don't mind you reading these to me in a way, because I like hearing these guys and just thinking like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe one after another they're gonna say this. It's so crazy.
Pompous.
Yeah.
The disturbing part, though, is like when you can find nothing ever, like even fake it, like go, you know what, I got to give him that. That was a well thought out idea. I agree with that.
You lose credibility when you can't do that.
Yes.
When you can't honestly look at it and go, yeah, give him credit there. Don't give him credit there.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
always
even
like,
with the hurricane, couldn't they maybe say, like, everyone seems to agree that he did
No,
okay
because
with
Melania wore pumps. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, high-heeled shoes to a hurricane.
Yeah.
Of course, she changed into tennis shoes on the plane, but in that photo, as they were getting on the plane, she was wearing stilettos.
on her way, just on the plane before, not when she was out in the hurricane,
She
onto
walked
the plane.
from the White House lawn to Marine
To
One
Marine
or
One,
whatever.
yeah.
Who
And she was wearing stilettos. Can you believe she wore to a hurricane? Really? And then
Really?
he didn't, I guess, pay attention to the victims enough. He went down there to see the operations and didn't kiss enough babies.
Right.
Didn't pretend he cared enough.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it is such a nuisance, the idea that these people need to be on the ground and assess as if he's going to be going,
sleeves rolled up and start.
What do we got going on over there? Like
Push some water down a.
Right.
I saw one, they were taking shots at him because they were loading boxes of supplies, whether they were those, what are those military ready-to-eat meals that are like shrink-wrapped or whatever. Like they had those and cases of water, and there's just that trail of people. And so they're just getting that dumb photo op moment. They've done it with everybody. Any politician goes down there, it's like, okay, sir, hand that bag of water to the lady, and then she'll go on her way. And it's like, it's just dumb.
There's
It's
always
just
way
optics.
too many people in the line, where he doesn't even need to like hand it past his body. He's just standing with it. Someone else grabs it from him.
Right.
Someone else grabs it right from that guy. It's like you're not even taking 2 steps and handing it. You're
Yeah.
just holding it.
The one I saw, he grabs this like bucket. Someone hands him a bucket or a box, and this woman is driving or a guy is driving a flatbed pickup truck, and it's open. It's not like there's a tarp on the back, and he's just like, okay, this goes to you, and he starts handing this heavy box through the front window where the driver is, and the driver's like grabbing this thing and like putting it over to the passenger.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay,
they're
man.
like-
How about the back of the truck?
Like, what a moron! He doesn't even know how to load the back of a pickup truck. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever.
I saw he got criticized just yesterday too because he supported Bill Schuette, for governor in Michigan. I guess coming
okay.
up, or whatever Schuette's running for. I guess it's governor, but he spelled Schuette wrong. Like, go ahead and spell Schuette. Spell Bill Schuette. Good luck.
SHOOTY.
No.
SHO.
SCHUTTE. He missed the C. Idiot.
What an idiot! What a moron! Commander in Chief.
Trump endorses, quote, Schuette without a C. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen.
It is where we are, and it's like, dude, we rag on E all the time. We call him retarded. We call him severely retarded. We everything, but every once in a while, that blind squirrel.
That son of a bitch.
And you did it yesterday, Jay. You went, you know what? I was actually proud. That guy went up in front of a room of people at this high-pro event, and that son of a bitch hit it out of the park. He did well. He repped us well. I got to give it to him. If I heard any of these people, the Julia Louis-Dreyfuses, the Colberts, at any point ever say anything, where it's like, I got to give it up for the guy, you won't hear it.
Nope.
And so to me, it's like, you, just like you said, you lose every bit of credibility when that's all you're able to see is evil. Because, Jay, I know people point to us and go, hey, Trump lovers, hey, why don't you talk to Jeffrey Lord again? Yeah, but you know what? We also spend a tremendous amount of time going, what is this fucking asshole doing today? We do.
I know.
And I hope that comes through. And we're like, all right, I'm just not going to declare him Satan and then move on with my day.
And I've been clear. I voted for Neil Gorsuch.
I know you did. And I voted for anything but Hillary Clinton. My vote was for whoever's not Hillary Clinton on the presidential ballot. So I thought it was kind of funny, though. Sean Spicer came out at one point. Did you see that?
No, I heard he did. I haven't seen his bit.
Yeah. Well, Colbert was doing his whole thing of like, maybe this will be the biggest watched, ever, trying to plan my inauguration event was huge. It was bigly. More people watched this than ever. And so he was like, I just wish there was a way to know for sure if this was the largest audience. Sean, do you know? And so they had Spicer come out like on a wheeled podium, like what's her name did on SNL.
Yeah.
And he's like, this will be the most watched, blah, 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 period. And so people got a good laugh out of that, Colbert had a shitload of them. Let's see. Julie Louis-Dreyfus in one of her numbers. Imagine if your president wasn't loved by all the Nazis. Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Dolly Parton.
What are you talking about?
Back in 1980, they're obviously the trio was there to celebrate the anniversary of 9 to 5.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess.
Working
9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
Would you say Dolly Parton?
Lily Tomlin
Yeah.
and Fonda.
Okay, yeah. I remember that.
And so back in 1980, that movie 9 to 5, we refused to be controlled by a sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot. And in 2017, we still refuse to be controlled by a sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot. And I guess the eyes like lit up on Dolly Parton, because I don't think Dolly Parton is one of the automatic hate Trump team, and she's just like, okay. Donald Glover, and I looked it up. Unfortunately, he's not related to Danny Glover. I really wanted to pound on him for that.
Yeah, he's going to be Lando, though, in the new Han Solo movie.
God, now I don't want to see that.
Philando Calrissian.
Nice.
Well, now you can't watch that, Mike. You shouldn't.
Donald Glover thanked Trump for making black people #1 on the most oppressed list. I didn't know they were #2. They were top 5 for a while.
Had to be.
Had to be, right? There's no way black people dropped out of the top 5 most oppressed list, but apparently they've topped the list now
Because
thanks
of
to
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
How? I wish someone could ask a follow-up.
What's the tangible measure of that, Mr. Glover?
Yeah. Well, he's figured it out. In fact, he closes it by saying he's the reason I'm probably up here today, as if people voted for him to right the wrongs of what Donald Trump has clearly
They
done to black
probably
people.
honestly voted for him because the quote or the hashtag Oscars so white got so much traction, and everybody's now guilted into voting for black guys to win awards like that. Sorry, but we'll never know if that's not
we'll
true.
never know.
You know,
We won't, and because when I woke up this morning, the very first thing I saw as far as reports about this were like, it was such an inclusive show. There were more minorities that won awards this year than ever
Were they better
before."
or not?
And I'm like,
they're better, awesome.
All right.
But I guess we'll never really know.
Doesn't matter anymore.
and
It's
that's
just-
sad, dude. That is honestly sad when it took 2 months of Oscars so white fucking obnoxiousness to like shame people into going, oh my God. Well, just look at the Hollywood Foreign Press who votes. And it's like 800 old white dudes. And it's like, how do you expect anybody to get ahead? And so now they've changed everything. And so, yeah, I guess we'll forever never know. Was it like, was that really the best guy? Or are we just trying to avoid that mess again?
Not as if you really ever know anyway. It's
Yeah.
all subjective bullshit and
Which is the-
stroking off each other anyway.
Which is the best part of the whole thing. I mean, it really is. It's like being nominated for a podcast award. Like, seriously? Oh, we're the best podcast out there. They said so. But we'll still take the win. I mean, obviously,
yeah,
we'd be
we'll take
fucking absolutely
4
honored.
if possible.
I mean, 4. Shit.
What are the categories
Yes.
again? Mature, comedy,
entertainment,
and people's
people's
choice.
choice, yeah.
And thanks a lot, everybody, for reminding us at the Hamlin Pub event to do the videos.
Sons of bitches.
God damn you all!
They got two. You know what? The tenor of the evening changed. What with Lefevre getting into a damn swinging match with you.
He was
You
like
guys
a
almost
little
went to
angry Elmer
fisticuffs.
Fudd, man.
Oh, he was. Bald son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Was out there just swinging at Jay all night. You were going head to head with him. You're on stage with a microphone.
I had
He's
no idea
not.
what he was talking about.
He
He's just
felt
bitching.
wrong.
Yeah, he was. Well,
And then Joel spent the whole time fucking rallying the whole room about how he got
it's got
fucked.
hashtags and all this shit.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. You know who's a good winner or a good loser? I'm sorry. Hey, Aaron, guy like that, a titan.
no, you know
a
who's a-
veritable titan that
Yeah.
I predicted would be in the championship.
He was great, too.
He's out, and you don't hear about it. You don't hear bitching about it.
He sat
he just
down.
goes and sits down and enjoys the evening.
He had some food.
He
some
doesn't scream.
drinks.
There's no gnashing of teeth.
It's so funny. I love it when it's like I'm talking to Aaron, and someone comes over and they're
Who?
exactly. There's a point to me saying that. Someone comes over and these people like they'll be standing there and it's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut in the conversation. Who are you? And he's like, I am Aaron, and they're like, hey, Aaron, no way! Like whatever nickname we've given them. They can't wait to introduce us instead of like, oh, I'm Aaron Rink, and I listen to the show. I am Aaron.
Son of a bitch.
You know what, dude? I was gonna say I think the even better example of a person who lost graciously was it Julie?
Julie.
She legitimately
screwed.
got possibly kind of screwed,
Yeah.
and she just walked off.
Well, you don't see hashtags, justice for Julie, or
Right,
bullshit like
and
that.
she has a
She has
sound
beef,
argument.
legitimate grievance.
No, dude. Julie is someone that just went, well, yeah, life goes on, and moved away. The guys that lost, they might as well have been wearing pink pussy hats
Oh, my
and taken
God.
to the streets, dude.
It's a great point.
You know what I mean? Like, I could have seen Joel with a pink pussy hat on and Lefevre out there with a pink pussy hat on demanding change. We're all going, what are we fighting for, man? What exactly do you want?
Yes, I've thought about blowing up Radio for One Studios.
Has a listener ever? What was the last time a listener killed a president or a host of a show? I don't know when it is.
Of course, I'm not a listener.
I'm not a listener. I'm a liar for a living. But I think it should happen soon.
Joel. Okay, wrapping these up. John Lithgow. I love John Lithgow too. He's such a great actor.
I remember him well from Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. You're gonna have Harry and the Hendersons. What is it? Third Rock from the Sun, or
Oh yeah.
wasn't he the dad in that?
Yep. Well, yeah.
I get that confused with 30 Rock. Actually, John Lithgow was in, I believe, season 4 of Dexter, and he was fucking amazing.
I think you're right
Oh.
too.
As a serial killer, like that had been killing for 30 years and never got caught. He was so good.
See that?
Yeah.
He was.
He's he's got a
brilliant.
creepiness to him.
Yeah, he was brilliant, and just love his work. Anyway, first and foremost, I want to thank Winston Churchill. Seems like an odd person to thank at 2017 Emmys, but whatever. In these crazy times, his life reminds us what courage and leadership in government looks like. And then lastly, we've got Kumail Nanjiani. I don't know if anyone checked his paperwork, but it doesn't sound. They, the nominees for Outstanding Reality Competition Program, also celebrate people who frantically race across international borders and those who can scale walls really, really quickly. In other words, the president's worst nightmare.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, actually, that's a lot of people's worst nightmare. Not just the president. When you talk about people crashing international borders and just coming across on their own uninvited or unwelcomed. Yeah, that's a lot of people's nightmares. Kumail Nanjiani. Anyway.
Hey, it's time for Ram Power Days at Zott M59 Dodge Ram in Highland. Not only will you get a world-class new and pre-owned buying experience, but you can also shop the Zott Speed Shop full of custom accessories.
The speed what?
The Speed Shop.
Okay.
Full of custom accessories and one-of-a-kind upgrades. Plus, during Ram Power Days, you can lease a new loaded 17 Dodge Ram 1500 4x4 crew cab for just $169 a month. Yes, that is a badass Dodge Ram for just $169 a month. Surf their sensational deals and their massive inventory at dealsinthed.com.
Oh, Julie got so fucked. That was a Zott Ford question. Yeah. What were we supposed? Honestly, now that we've had time to reflect, what were we supposed to do there?
We
Do you
should
think we
have
made
done.
the right
question.
decision?
We should have suggested another question and seen how bad A-Dub freaked out about it. Because A-Dub would have a beef, because A-Dub's the guy who got it right, technically. And so if A-Dub would have just been like, oh, okay, another question, sure. And he seemed like kind of an easygoing dude.
Yeah,
I
he
bet he
was.
would have.
He hugged me later in the evening and almost cried. So yes, he was very.
So I think that was probably the move. That was probably the play. So yeah, you know what? We're going to read another question. A-Dub, you ready? And he'd have probably been like, yeah, no problem.
I mean,
sure. That's fair.
For those who haven't heard, weren't there, didn't hear us yesterday, there was a tiebreaker question, just to quickly refresh. Jay asked a true or false question. Does Zot Ford and Holly have a, what'd you say,
Bubble hockey.
Bubble hockey.
Does the showroom at Zot Ford and Holly include a bubble hockey game?
And what we were looking for
Was false.
They've got a ping pong table, they've got a foosball table, and they've got the popcorn machine.
And the hottest sales staff in Oakland County.
Exactly.
Which you can play with too, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah,
I have.
nice.
I mean, I have. Anthony Ketchen, I've played with him so many. Oh,
he's the man.
He's wonderful. But yeah, as far as we knew, they did not have a bubble hockey machine. Never had. It's never been mentioned on our show. It's never been part of the reads.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And I'm like, that's false, correct, Steve Gabar? And he's like, well, I actually bought one 3 weeks ago, and like, fuck.
I
So-
think we were even trying to didn't you ask is it installed yet?
I know. I'm like, so it's still in the box, like in the storeroom. They're
No,
like, it's in the
like
show.
a week ago. I got it installed.
showroom.
Yeah, it's up. It's kicking ass. And we're just like,
So the answer is no.
Huh.
True.
so it took what was her correct answer and his definitely wrong answer and absolutely flipped them.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, man. We probably should have just went, okay, we had no idea. We're going to ask another question. But, yeah, they were both good sports, so I suppose it worked out. Hey, lastly, on the hashtag Emmys that were yesterday, they had their in memoriam. One of my favorite parts of this segment, when we all pretend to give a shit about these people that died.
Right.
And we all
Because
have
they
to-
mean so much to us, right? I mean, they were in that movie, right?
Yeah.
Or that TV show. Meant a
yeah.
lot.
When that grip died, I mean, it's been
No,
hard.
but take it out of the grip, put it in the actor or actress. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that guy from that TV show.
I'd be insulted if it was like my papa, my grandpapa was up there, and he was a composer in the 30s. And it's like he lived a really long life, and he dies at 98, and he's got some wiry mustache, and all they've got really is a black and white of him. And they put him up there, and it's like, and then they flash up,
Maud or some shit.
and it's
oh
like,
my God, Maud! I don't know if it's a guy or a chick, but holy shit, it's Maud!
And I'm like, dude, Grandpa Walters worked hard,
Yeah,
man.
he's
He
probably
was-
50 times better than Maud.
Shit, that was probably my mom in the background golf clapping for him. No one cared. But that guy did heroin last week and died, and all of a sudden it's like standing ovation. Trying to think of the fat guy who was a great actor who died a couple years ago, and I remember him getting one of those ovations. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, Farley would be good. No, that's a great guess.
you're probably thinking of the Joker guy, right?
No,
What are you talking about, man?
fuck. Now I'm gonna want to think about it. I'll think about it. Never mind. If I have to look it up in the break, I will. But he might have 3 names.
What are you even talking about? I don't even.
Someone that died recently, right before the in memoriam, and then went in there, and then it was
Seymour Hoffman?
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Philip Seymour Hoffman ODs on heroin with a hooker or whatever,
Gotcha.
and then it's like gets
Such
raved.
an artist.
Oh my God, just brilliant, brilliant. His demons got the best of him, but he was
The
brilliant.
demons. I love it.
He was brilliant.
So Carrie Fisher, worthy. It's the Emmys TV. Did Carrie Fisher ever, outside of your favorite, the Christmas Star Wars special?
Right, the Christmas Star. Did she do like Will and Grace or something? Which wasn't she somebody's mom on something for a short time? But dude, no, she was not known for TV. No way.
No, I think she did do one.
Or did
TV
she
thing.
write? She was a writer. Maybe she wrote for a show.
Yeah. And I think you have Carrie Fisher in there.
She did a
anyway.
voice on Family Guy, it looks like.
Okay, that would hardly qualify, but
Uh,
she was on another show. Was it Blues Brothers? Didn't
Yeah,
she
she
ever
was in
roll in?
Blues Brothers.
And people really loved her in that. But that's a movie. Anyway, she was Mary Tyler Moore, Jerry Lewis. They were all mentioned. Viola Davis came out mid-ceremony to introduce a heartfelt tribute at the Microsoft Theater in downtown L.A. In addition to Fisher, we had her mom, Debbie Reynolds, was honored. Martin Landau, Bill Paxton, John Hurt, I'm assuming he's a composer or something. He was in an
No,
orchestra
John,
pit somewhere.
John Hurt. I
Which one's John Hurt?
thought he was an actor, but whatever. Go on. I think he's a thespian.
All right. Grant Tinker.
Now you're getting into composers.
Grip, composer,
Maybe.
maybe. We've got, let's see here. Don Rickles. I think he counts. Glenn Campbell, musician, not so much of a TV guy,
But
but
famous people who died, huh? Here's a list. Everybody clap.
and basically, shouldn't that be what
Because
it
it meant
is?
so much to you. I mean,
Oh my god!
fucking John Landau, like, meant so much to me.
Yeah. I've never met him. I'm a rhinestone cowboy. Oh, we got to have him in there. Miguel Ferrer, Zsa Zsa Gabor, Bob Osborne, Florence Henderson. Here's a good one.
Mrs. Brady.
John
Loved her
Hurd.
in that Crisco commercial.
I don't remember her Crisco commercial.
She
Really?
was the Crisco pitch person.
I remember
many
her
years.
fucking her son, Greg Brady.
I do. I remember that story, too.
that's-
That's a memorable one.
Yeah, that's really what I think she's most known for, right? At
I
this
thought
point?
she did this thing where she's holding like a chicken leg, going, I serve my kids the finest and oil,
Back-
oil and fats. Use Crisco.
And it always looks like it's perfectly fried.
Wesson
Oh,
oil.
Wesson
There
oil,
you go.
sure. Back in the day when the only chicken they showed was on the drumstick,
Yeah.
the leg they would hold
Yep.
up. Is that the commercial? Let's watch it, E.
Looks like it's.
I want to see what.
Wesson's bottle is lighter than ever. Pass it on. Wesson does feel lighter. This new plastic bottle is
Dude,
easier
they're
to handle.
pumping the fact that
Got
the
a built-in
bottle
note to
feels
stop.
lighter.
No more mess. Wesson's new
My
light
God, you can
plastic
drop
bottle
it, and
is
it's no
shatterproof,
problem.
too.
Wow.
What's best about Wesson is the way it
Look at these
dries,
house
like
moms.
See, there you go. There, to your point.
shoes.
Yep.
Pick up Wesson in the new plastic bottle. It's lighter than ever.
Look at
Pass it
Flo.
on.
How would Flo need to be doing the Wesson oil shit?
Nah.
They couldn't have paid that much.
Yeah, but at that point, she's 15, 20 years out of the Brady's.
You think that's way out of the Brady's? What?
That's way out of the
Because
Brady's.
that looks.
That's
straight-
1984.
84. What the Brady's were 70s? Were 70s and 80s?
Late 60s to mid 70s? I don't
I think that's what it was supposed to be portraying, but
Oh, here was a. I guess
No, I
there's
think
a.
it portrayed present day.
did it?
Yeah, it wasn't like that 70s show. It was portraying present day, I think. Whatever. Who's this?
Don't anymore.
Oh, let me turn my
I thought this
jacket
was
off.
her as well. It just said
Thanks for dropping everything.
that's not her.
No, that's
Oh,
not
not even
Flo.
close, no.
Oh, Jesus. That's Crisco.
But
But
Yeah.
look at how that's her competitor.
Yeah.
That's her Crisco competitor.
Yep.
Very much like Flo.
Good, doesn't taste
Drumstick.
greasy, and it's soaked an hour.
It's soaked an hour. It's soaked an hour in Crisco.
Crisco oil.
Delicious.
Can
Dude.
you imagine now?
So bad.
The most delicious oil.
Well, yeah, if you put my dad used to always say like, yeah, you can everything tastes good if you throw sugar and shit in it,
course.
like everything.
Did you guys see? Oh man, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and be embarrassed because I don't know what it is. Did you guys see the commercial that someone sent us on Facebook about the racing boat?
No, I'm
No.
not on the book.
Yeah, that's right. It might have been on Twitter too, but it was. Remind me when we go to break. 'Cause we'll go to break here in a little bit, but remind me and I'll pull it up for you because it's pretty fucking funny. I think it's a real commercial too.
Oh, dude, yeah, somebody did tweet that at me. Something about yes, it's a double entendre
totally.
sexual reference.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll
anyway.
fix this in post. Don't worry.
Yeah, we won't. We could, but we won't.
Yeah.
So anyway, there were some people. Just wrapping out the list, we got Mike Connors, Chuck Barris, crazy guy was the Gong Show host.
Oh,
was
yeah,
Chuck
yeah.
Barris.
Okay.
Brad Gray was like the president of one of the major studios. He deserves to be in there. Powers Booth, Alan Thicke. Doesn't seem like Alan Thicke died longer than a year ago.
It does seem like that. He must have been right on the edge.
Jay Thomas, who just recently died, you would know him from Mork and Mindy. He was on Cheers. He got booted off Cheers because he started making fun of Real Perlman in public, who was
And he
his
had a
wife on the show.
Very
What was he on
successful radio
Cheers?
show.
He played
It was like Eddie the Eagle or something.
Yeah,
He was-
like the
he was
Boston-
goalie.
Oh,
Boston
and he
Bruins
got
goalie.
booted because
yeah,
because of what was it?
he started ragging on Real Perlman and how gross she was. and he got back to the set one day and was like, what's wrong? It's like Real Perlman's just like, fuck
And who was
you.
she? I'm sorry, who was she on the show?
She's Danny DeVito's real wife. She's the little fucking waitress.
Oh, okay, yeah,
smart-ass
yeah.
Real
Carla?
Perlman.
Carla. Yeah,
yes.
I've watched a number of episodes of Cheers. I just don't know their names.
And then we've got Norman Brokaw, Robert Vaughn, Stuntman John Berniker, who was killed on the Walking Dead set, recently made it.
Exactly.
Yep. Quite a few did not make it, and I'm kind of pissed about a couple of these. Aaron Moran. How was Aaron Moran
Days.
from Happy Days?
I know
not on
that's
the,
squarely within TV. Like she was a TV star. She was
Yes.
nothing else.
That's it. I don't even think she did a TV commercial. She did Happy Days, Joni Loves Chachi. Like, that's it. Al Jarreau. He was more of a composer, but dude, he wrote the
Jarreau with an X.
No, Jarreau, Jarreau. He was nominated for a damn Emmy because he wrote not only the music, not only composed the music, but wrote the lyrics to Moonlighting.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, that should get you in there. He didn't appear.
Who?
Sam Shepard. Look up the theme song for Moonlighting. Test out Al Jarreau's work. Is Jarreau the one that had the fucking thing on his face? Or am I thinking of someone else?
oh man, I don't know
Had
what
some
you're
weird
talking
voice. Yeah. Anyway, Sam Shepard. And I was thinking, is that the guy
about. He
with
just
the long,
died like a month ago or something.
long handlebar? Who's that Sam that was in like Mask or whatever? But it's not him. Sam Shepard, though, was in The Right Stuff. Played
he
Chuck
was in a lot.
Yeager. Steel Magnolias.
Yep.
Pelican Brief. Black Hawk Down.
Sure.
The Notebook. He was in Charlotte's Web in 2006 as the narrator.
Was he on TV? I thought these Emmys
Killing
were
Them
about
Softly,
TV.
Mud with McConaughey and Reese Witherspoon. Oh, you want him on TV? You want him on TV,
Yeah,
you son
give
of a
me some
bitch?
TV.
Bloodline, one of the best shows on Netflix. 3 seasons. It's amazing.
Never heard of it.
He's the patriarch of the family. Dude, Kyle Chandler, my opinion, one of our greatest American treasures. He was the coach in Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, that was a good show, dude. Friday
Oh,
Night Lights
it's
is
a brilliant
it's
show.
way underrated.
It's a great show, and so is Bloodline. That might need to be your next one, dude. About
Okay.
a murder in this family down in the Keys of Florida. All right, here's Moonlighting's theme. Listen to Al.
I totally remember Al.
My parents loved this show.
I used to watch it with my mom.
Yeah,
What was it about?
It had
Maddie and
Maddie and David.
Were
It's
they
Bruce
detectives?
Willis.
Yeah.
It's Bruce Willis's breakout.
Huh.
And
with
Sybil
Sybil
Shepherd's too. Well, Sybil was around. She was banging like Jack.
Did you think she was hot? Again, this is one of these chicks that I think was forced down our throats as hot. Sybil Shepherd.
Sybil was a gamer though. I think Sybil Shepherd back in the day was like fucking Jack. Is it Nicholas Nicholson?
Nicholson.
I think she was fucking Nicholson and letting him do whatever
That
to
is
her.
way too long of an intro, by the way.
Yeah, Al Jarreau
Remember
did
back
it,
when
though.
he used to have full songs? Like now, it's like
Just
dude,
the good old boys. Hell yeah, we remember.
it's like just get to the show, man. I don't need.
I know.
3 minutes.
Hearing a 4-minute intro before a show starts
Bizarre.
is just fucking brutal. We've heard it before. Well, let's see here. We got a parents furious at a Georgia Tech cop who killed an LGBT pride leader. Did you hear about this?
No.
Sounds more like murder, suicide by cop to me than anything else. But you know, it's one of those like I'm LGBTQ, so hands off, no matter what I'm doing.
Now I got you.
Parents of Georgia Tech student shot dead by campus cops on Saturday say the child did not have to die. The child, of course, what we're talking about is Scout Schultz, 21 years old, identifies as gender non-binary.
That's creative.
They have hired a trial attorney now to represent them ahead of this investigation, which came after they were filmed walking. She was... all right. Okay, this is going to get tricky. Sorry.
What are we going to call it?
Well,
It? He or she?
it doesn't want to be called... Okay, there's a few things
Is it
here.
offensive to call it it?
What we're dealing with is an individual
Scout. Okay.
Okay, jot this down because I'm going to forget.
Scout.
Scout identifies as bisexual, non-binary, intersex.
I don't know what intersex means.
Yeah, most people don't. Here, in a nutshell, it means I don't want to be referred to as he, she, any of those things. And so when you read sentences like, they hired a trial attorney, I believe we're talking about their parents, to represent them ahead of the investigation into Schultz's death, which came after they were filmed walking towards police. It should be, well, he or she was filmed walking towards police.
God, they're calling her they?
They. She wants to be known as they or them.
She's plural.
Yes. So it makes it very confusing, because to me that sounds like, wait.
Why is she plural? Why isn't it?
I don't know. Why is the sky blue? I mean, they picked this. But if you're going to have a they in the next sense, it makes it sound like the parents were walking towards the police filming
Yeah,
this.
what part of bisexuality, non-binary or intersex characterization makes you a more than one person?
I don't know. But non-binary means the individual does not identify as male or female.
Okay.
So we're not even
so you're
dealing...
an it. You're an it who likes to bang guys and girls.
Yeah,
you're
but-
bisexual. What does intersex mean? You just don't want to be called him or her.
Exactly, which
So
is why you can't do the it game that you're
why
doing.
Why is she a they?
Or a them.
Why?
I don't
Why is she
know.
more than one?
I don't
How did she
know.
multiply?
I don't know. There they is. Them's a beautiful whatever.
That's fucking stupid. At
Yeah.
best, I'll call her an it. I'm sorry if that's disrespectful.
Okay, I'll let it slide this time so we can at least under context know who you're referring to. So, it was filmed walking towards the police, who issued several warnings to drop the knife. Footage shows it walking closer and closer to the police officers, shouting, "Shoot me."
Okay.
Guy! Nobody wants to hurt you, one of the cops can be heard saying before a shot rings out and they crumples to the ground. It crumples to the ground. It's unclear what mental illness Schultz may have suffered from. Is it unclear?
It's unclear exactly, the type of mental illness, but it's not unclear that she was mentally ill.
No, I think it's pretty clear. When you start doing that whole, like,
It's not unclear that she's mentally ill.
Right. But I don't think it's like she's got an eating disorder. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, what mental illness does she have?
the one that says I'm bisexual, non-binary, and intersex.
Right.
That one.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. Schultz's father has claimed that his child, who preferred to be referred to as they or them rather than gender pronouns, had been holding a tiny knife. It was just a tiny knife, walking towards the cops saying, "Shoot me with a tiny knife." What are you guys, pussies? You can't take it down? According to a press release from the Bureau, Schultz was non-cooperative and would not comply with officer commands.
What makes it plural? I'm flummoxed.
You should be. I am as well. Schultz continued to advance towards the officers with the knife. Subsequently, one of them fired at Schultz. The victim's parents are now questioning why the use of deadly force. Schultz's mother, Lynn, said Schultz was a nonconformist and very, very bright. Well, maybe in the school, in the classroom, but that is a
Book
very,
smart.
very not bright thing to do, to be a nonconformist with a knife advancing towards police. I think we can all agree with that, right?
Yeah, I think she was confused.
Schultz was the president of the school's Pride Alliance, which is a student organization for the LGBTQRS students and allies. They was born male, identified as bi, non-binary, intersex, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's a sad story anytime you have someone killed at the hands of the police. That will affect those police officers for the rest of their life. But I can already see this being turned into a martyr thing because of all the crazy things they identified as. And it's like, you know what, man? I expect that if I don't care how big my knife is, if I've got, that's not a knife, that's a knife. And I've got my, Crocodile Dundee knife, or I've got a little butter knife. If I'm advancing towards police, you have to shoot me. Officer, you know this. As a white male advancing on you with a butter knife, please do your job and take me down. It's just the way it is.
I agree.
Am I right?
I agree.
I wish I could answer your question, Jay. I had the same one I was hoping you could answer.
I'm flummoxed, man.
How they turned plural. Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, let's take a break. And, oh man, we lost another wrestling legend.
I know. The brain.
Yeah. Remember Bobby the Brain Heenan?
Of course.
Right? Yeah. He actually lived a pretty long life.
The Weasel? Not really. He's like 73 or something.
Dude,
man.
for wrestlers usually die at like 15. Like 72 is, boy, he might as well be 100 years old. So we'll get into that and much more next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hi, Michael Kowalski here, fourth generation of the Kowalski meat dynasty. But you can just call me the Sausage King of Detroit. And you know what, my friends? It's time. Time to roll out the grill, crack open the Jack's potato salad, sizzle up some sausages, pass out the pierogies, ice those beers, and unfold those chairs. Because grilling season is here, and it's time. Time to eat like a king. I'm Michael Kowalski, and I approve my message.
The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com, as always. And I think we're going to do a rather large email segment today. We've done some shorter ones, and stuff is piling up, and I believe you've got some decent stuff, Jay.
Oh, I've got a lot of email, Mike.
All right. So we'll do that coming up before too long. Mentioned just before the break, Bobby the Brain Heenan died, age 72. Complications from throat cancer. I guess he's been battling since like 2002. It's a pretty good run to make it 15 years
It's
or
a
so.
long battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Bobby the Brain. He was kind of in the wheelhouse of my wrestling days, which were
Totally.
back with, Hulk Hogan and
Yeah.
Jim Hacksaw Duggan and that sort of thing.
Who was the guy that we talked to? The billion, Ted DiBiase would have been then. Yeah, really big in the 80s and 90s. I was asking E if he even knew who he was, and he didn't. So he managed Andre the Giant,
Jesse the Body Ventura.
but then 2002 he got the cancer. I guess he broke his neck at one point, and that's why he kind of
Went from wrestling to managing.
Yeah, wasn't there a similar story with DiBiase? Didn't
Moved
he?
into the front office.
Yeah.
That's a similar story to many wrestlers.
Yeah,
Many
probably.
wrestlers
Yeah.
have neck issues, neck or back issues, and then
Sure.
they move into, like you said, a manager role or something.
I thought
like that.
specifically Ted DiBiase. Didn't he have some? When we were talking to him, didn't he have some issue in the ring that turned him into
I think
more of a
he did.
manager, something or other? Anyway, yeah. So he would basically just go out with his wrestlers and talk shit to Mean Gene Okerlund. But yeah, Ric Flair, Andre the Giant, all.
Yeah, I
all
remember
under his care.
hating him. Oh, I hate him.
Yeah, he was a heel for sure.
The Weasel.
Oh yeah, which one was the Weasel?
I
Was
think
that?
they called him the Weasel, didn't they?
Did they Bobby the Brain Heenan?
I thought so.
I thought Jimmy the Mouth of the South, was he not known as the Weasel?
Oh, I know.
Remember that little son of a bitch?
I thought he was the Weasel.
Maybe. Yeah, that could be. But yeah, he was back in the WWF is when he was managing. I mean, it's WWE now, but he was the conniving manager to various heel characters. Oversaw and fought alongside and sometimes with Andre the Giant, Jesse the Body, Ric Flair, Ravishing Rick Rude,
Yeah.
Mr. Perfect, among others. Went into the Hall of Fame in 2004, deservedly so, but I got to be honest, man. That
Pretty grim picture, that final picture you've got in your hand. Ooh.
Yeah, like Ted DiBiase, the Brain Heenan, like they all had this certain look, like with the big neck and the big round head and that dumb feathered hair that was
Yes.
popular in the 80s. And then you get that final picture, and it's just,
Oh, man.
there's...
You would never think that's him, ever in a million years.
Honestly, if I gave you 10,000 guesses as to who that is, if I just showed you that picture, you'd never be
No.
able to see Bobby Heenan in there. Not at all. And whenever they got to remove part of your
Poor
face
guy, yeah.
and reconstruct, it's
Makes
just,
you look different.
Yeah, I know. My dad had a buddy, Lou. Lou was the one that got in the car accident while my dad and he were waiting to go off to the Navy and be fighter pilots together. They wanted to go in together, go to
Oh
the
yeah,
same
you
place.
said. I remember this story.
Yeah, and his got delayed like a week or something.
He got-
and they went in separate. They got shipped to separate
was like-
places.
Did he get a DUI or a drunk drive? Wasn't there
I
something?
don't know
weird
if
thing?
DUIs were invented then.
Okay, but I thought you said something about like him getting drunk and like in an accident, and then
Yeah.
I thought you'd said this story before. That's
This
Yeah.
is the equivalent of separating Iceman and Slider
Totally.
on day one.
Yes,
I mean, this hurt.
exactly. This was a big deal, and I think he went on, like my dad went into jets, and he ended up going into like helicopters or some bullshit. It was like, oh man, I want to fly jets and stuff, and so they were separated, and then they were never teamed back up again. And he ended up getting cancer somewhere in the face, and he showed up at my sister's wedding. I hadn't seen him in 30 years.
Yeah.
And they had removed like his nose and part of his face, and then he
Wow.
had to wear a prosthetic one. And I gave him tremendous balls for even showing up
Sure.
at that, because it's like, dude, how life altering to like think about it. If they took like your lip, your nose, and your cheekbones, Jay, and took them out and threw them away, and then like molded someone that you can like put on as a mask.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's a hard thing to wrap your head around.
That's kind of why I stopped chewing a while back. It was like, yeah.
You liked your jaw, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and your tongue.
Partial to my jaw and tongue, yeah.
Yeah, because those are the things that they take first usually. It's not a finger, you know. Bobby the Brain's smartest quotes over the years, real quick. A friend in need is a pest.
Ha! I agree. I agree with that.
I'm a legend in this sport. If you don't believe me, ask me. I know all about cheating. I've had 6 very successful marriages. So there's a guy in the crowd that's been married 20 years, and he says, "Are you aware, sir, that if you'd killed her on your wedding night, you'd be out by now?"
Oh, Bobby.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so rest in peace, Mr. Heenan. He was good for the sport. When we were kids, man, he was fun to watch. He was fun to hate.
Are you ready, gentlemen?
Hey, Douglas!
E, here we go.
Gonna find our best friend Doug, and then we're gonna give him a best friend hug. Doug, Doug, oh, Doug, 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 Doug.
Buying or selling a home can be one of the most stressful times of a person's life. Douglas Steinert at Century 21 Campbell wants to make the sale of your old home or the purchase of your dream home as stress-free as possible. So call him at 248-765-1781. Let him and the team at Century 21 Campbell make your real estate transaction dreams a reality. Call 248-765-1781 and ask for a fellow Detroit Cast listener, Douglas Steinert.
I met someone yesterday. Was our event yesterday? 2
Did
days
someone
ago.
come here?
No. I met someone at our Hamlin gig who had just closed on a place with Douglas.
Cool.
I was extremely satisfied. He was going on about how great Douglas was.
Douglas was hopeful that he would have shown up to that, but wasn't able to make it. He actually had a question in there, which I should have asked, given that he didn't make it, because it went to his physical appearance. Is Douglas Steinert extraordinarily short or extraordinarily tall?
I know the answer to that one because I've met him.
I would hope most people would know.
He is not in any way a wisp of a man.
No.
He's taller than Joel, probably,
He's
right?
probably right there with Joel.
Because Joel's like 6'5", I think.
He's right there.
And I thought Douglas was like 6'7" or something. Too tall for me to be in a room with.
Very
I don't even
tall.
like being in a room with him. This is a story that is kind of weird and disturbing on some level. I think you will find it equally as disturbing, Jay. We're getting really good with science about deciding what's going on when you knock up a woman, and they can look at the innards. They can take some samples, and they go, based on your age and this situation, it's looking really good that you're gonna have a kid with Down syndrome.
Yeah, once a woman hits their 40s, like it goes ramping
Skyrockets.
up.
Yeah,
really, really high percentage, extraordinarily high.
So a lot of countries have been doing these prenatal screenings across Europe and the United States.
What is it, amniocentesis or whatever, where they take the amniotic fluid out?
Is that what it is? Is that the sac fluid?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think you can have that here, too. You can have it anywhere.
What, sac fluid or the test?
The test.
Yeah. I was just trying to be clear. Yeah, you can. And so I've seen stories where people are like, we have basically eliminated Down syndrome from our country. It does not exist anymore.
You're killing the ones that have it. You're identifying a fetus that has it, and you're killing them.
That's like saying we've eradicated cancer in the country. Anybody that has cancer, we shoot them in the face.
Yeah. As soon as they're diagnosed, we shoot them. Cancer's gone.
Cancer isn't killing anybody in this country.
Nope.
I mean, come on. Jonas Salk came up with a vaccine for polio. He didn't just murder everybody with polio.
Actually fixed it.
Yes. And there are certain countries that are very proud of this. Since prenatal screening tests were introduced in Iceland,
Really, they're touting these stats?
Dude, I saw a story where they're like, has a cure finally been found for Down syndrome? In Iceland, they claim that they have basically eradicated Down syndrome. And it's like, they just kill all the babies. And to me, like, look, man, we make fun of a lot of syndromes. I got to tell you, kids with Down syndrome can be amazing kids, full of life. Every time I see one, they're smiling ear to ear. Now, look at the ones that listen to, was it little Robert with his Mickey Mouse shirt on?
Little Bob.
Yeah. They're fucking adorable. Fellhauer's niece has Down syndrome. She's adorable. And they can live really long, full lives. You know, I mean, yeah, does it come with some difficulties? Sure. But the idea that you just be like,
What would you do?
I wouldn't want to. I would kill a normal one for sure. Like if they said this kid is going to be perfect, I'd be like, ugh, get rid of him.
What if you were married? You're wanting to have a kid. You go ahead and have the amnio test, and it shows up. Yep, you've got a mongoloid brewing. What do? Do you kill it?
Depends what level we're talking. If it's just like a Down syndrome kid, I'd probably have it.
Are you being honest with
I'm
me?
being totally honest
Michael?
with you. I am.
Jesus, do you kill it?
I really don't want.
They
a
didn't
kid
kill
at
you,
all.
E.
Let's assume you want a kid.
Okay.
I know that's a big assumption.
No, if I was in a state where I was married, I don't. No, dude, I would not kill a Down syndrome kid coming. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it.
Well, putty.
Would you, Jay?
Of course not. In
Really?
fact, we didn't even have the test because it's like whatever we have, we have.
Wow, you were just rolling the dice
Yes.
blind. You were like a caveman. Put it in, and then 9 months later, something popped out. We'll
That's right.
figure it out then.
That's right.
Did you even do the test like boy, girl, or they, them, whatever it was going to be?
Yeah, you have ultrasounds throughout, you know?
Oh, you could see that giant dong developing like early
Right.
on. Right. So they said the vast majority of women in Iceland, vast majority, as soon as they found out, terminated pregnancies. Using an ultrasound blood test, mother's age, the test, which is called the combination test, determines whether the fetus will have a chromosome abnormality, most common of which is the Downs. Children born with this disorder have distinctive facial issues, which is probably
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen that before, I feel like.
that's exactly what, when we say that, like, dude, I feel like I've seen that guy before. That's what they're talking about, distinctive facial issues. A range of development, mental issues.
How would you describe it? Heavy eyes, pug nose, full lipped.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the heavy eyes for sure. Like
Yeah,
just
the heavy
overall,
eyes
like
is
seems
good.
like the face is just like way down.
E.
Come on, he has some couth, man.
Yeah. I mean, Jay was at least polite enough to say heavy eyes. I think it's the eyes, right? Probably
Yeah,
the most
yeah.
distinct. Have a lifespan of 60 years, which I think is the perfect lifespan. I mean, dude, honestly, if it was like you get 60 years, do what you got to do, that's perfect.
Probably 60 happier years than most people have.
Absolutely. United States has estimated termination rate for Down syndrome. So if they find out here when they do the test, what number do you think goes, fuck it, I'm out, bail?
I say 70%.
67. So we're not quite as monstrous as you would think.
Just under as monstrous as I thought.
France? Take a guess.
Oh,
what France is
92%?
77. Denmark,
92.
98.
Fuck.
They do not
Which
like.
is why, which is why Denmark is very, very proud of the fact that they've basically
They're perfect, aren't they?
eradicated Down syndrome in Denmark. With a population of around 330,000, Iceland has on average just 1 or 2 children born with Down syndrome per year, sometimes after their parents, and that's only because
1 or 2 per year?
per year. And here's the reason why they have those 1 or 2. False tests.
Oh, man. Can you imagine how big a pariah that kid is going to be growing up in a culture like that where you just eliminate?
Dude, you might as well lack pigment in fucking Nigeria. I mean, you are, yeah. And they even point that out, that it's like, oh, yeah, the test results were awry, and that's why they ended up keeping
Now
this
that's
one.
a weird twist to it, though, Jay. Like if you think about it, like, I mean, if you couldn't move out of the country and you're like, oh my god, like I don't want to get rid of this. I think that's ridiculous. But dude, to have just like one, like or
The
two,
only mongoloid in Iceland?
right? It just could be really bad for that kid, man.
So, yeah, they say babies are still born with Down syndrome in Iceland. Some of them were low risk in the screening test, so we just didn't find them in our screening. Otherwise, we would have killed the shit out of them, too. But we just didn't see it. Sorry.
Yeah, we just sucked their brain out of their skull, too.
Sure. Geneticist Kari Stephenson, the founder of Decode Genetics, a company that studied nearly the entire Icelandic population's genomes. His thought is, look, my understanding is that basically we've eradicated Down syndrome from our society. There's hardly ever a child born here with Down syndrome in Iceland anymore. So he's really proud of this. You know, like they've done their job. It's just
Acting as if they have the cure.
I thought
crazy.
there was like a 60 Minutes or something on this where it was like, is it possible we found a cure for Down syndrome? And it's like, you gotta be shitting me, man. I'm a monster. Admittedly, I'm a monster. But don't just start murdering things and then act like you found a cure. You didn't cure anything.
Wow.
So your stance is that a baby being aborted is murder. Look at this.
No, dude. I just don't put that much value in our lives. I look at us as big ants. We're just lucky that something bigger doesn't step on us all day. That's really my stance on things. It has nothing to do with God or this or that. I just don't think we're that special. But I think the idea of just like, oh, it's this. Now, I do think there are some issues. When I see those kids born from, what was that like Zika or whatever, and had half a head.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go into the business.
No, I think
making
Zika
tiny-
had you got an enormous
No.
Sputnik.
No, because he wanted the
Oh,
tiny
yeah,
hats.
Zika, yes, Zika's a little tiny.
I wanted to make the tiny
Okay.
baseball hats.
Well, I
for him.
remember that one little kid too. He had like half a skull. Remember that
Yeah.
kid?
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't Zika, was it? It was
No, it was something else.
Yeah.
There was something else. Now, for that one, like if there was, to me, like that one really bothered me because I understood the parents felt like you did, Jay. Like every life, I don't care, man. It's a life, and it's connected to God, and you give it a chance. And to me, that one sucked because they strung that baby along for, I don't know, a year and a half. It might still be going. And the kid's having like 27 seizures a day. It's got no life function. And to me, I'm just like, to me, that's just cruel.
That's your opinion. A lot of people have the total opposite.
I understand that. And I know it's hard for people to put down an animal, but I look at an animal, I go, that animal is filled with cancer and pain, and the reason you're keeping it around is because you can't handle the fact of losing that animal. You're hurting the animal now at this point. And to me, I feel like you're going to get to heaven and God's going to go, the fuck, dude? Why did you torture that poor thing for 2 years? Clearly, I was giving you every signal in the world
Oh, my God.
that this was a problem.
I'm not even going down this rabbit hole. This is absurd. Amazon link. Have we mentioned the importance of the Amazon link in a while?
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. I think
No.
people have forgotten about Amazon.
Amazon.
Do you know that
Amazon.
it's a very rare company?
Amazon. Trying to
There
bring
has
it to
never
Detroit.
been a company quite like Amazon.
Dude, that's a big story.
That
if
would be
Detroit can get that
huge.
second headquarters, talking about hundreds of thousands of jobs.
I heard 50,000, but okay.
Oh, okay. Tens of thousands of jobs.
Dude, that's a shitload of
and
jobs.
you're talking about like millions of square feet of space that they'd be using.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. And they're going to put Gilbert on the
Committee.
plan, the committee to get this thing going.
Yeah, I guess what Amazon is looking for is someone with they're looking for like a lot of the problems that Detroit has run into when going after these companies is like, well, we've got the suburbs, and Detroit wasn't a place where you wanted to go. Detroit has this unique thing that most major cities don't have, which is land and lots of it available. So if you wanted to put a 1 million square foot building somewhere with multiple campuses, this city can house it. And so I guess it was Mayor Duggan has reached out to community leaders and the Dan Gilberts of the world, and I guess they're putting together a plan to make a serious run.
Yeah, they wanted everybody to get on the same page and contribute ideas to this instead of just like, one-offs going, yeah, we'll try to do something for you. It's like, no, let's put together a really good regional plan.
Yeah, submit it as a
friggin'
team.
enormous.
But I guess the biggest hang-up we're going to have is the whole mass transit thing that is so important in a lot of those major cities where you've got campuses and
Well, the New York Times did a study on it right off the bat. It's sort of like a Willy Wonka golden ticket that Jeff Bezos hung out there. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, we're going to open the second headquarters. Who
Yeah.
wants it?
Yeah.
And so the New York Times immediately did a study and came up with, I think, Denver.
Denver.
As the likely winner.
Yeah.
And they dismissed Detroit because they said we didn't have the workforce that could support it.
bullshit.
So, I mean, people around here in the suburbs have shown a willingness to go downtown and work. I think if there was reasonable
Yeah.
employment, good employment down there, people would drive the half hour, 40 minutes down there and go do that.
For sure. Or move down
yeah,
there.
so if you're looking in Detroit proper within, 10 blocks of where they're going to put this thing right,
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
have the fucking structure to do it.
No, and that's the cool thing about a town like Detroit or a town like Pittsburgh. When you've got these hardworking blue collar Midwesterners, historically have shown that they are willing to go work their asses off if the job's legit. The problem with downtown Detroit for so many years is you didn't have a grocery store, you didn't have a movie theater. Like moving downtown was something you were stuck there because circumstances meant that's all you could afford. But it's becoming a place now where you can go.
Yeah,
and
for
believe me,
non-families, I mean, it's still child abuse to move your family down there. I mean, let's be honest, it is. But for young hipster entrepreneurs, whatever, young people in their first jobs
Yeah.
out of college, it's a way better option than it was when I came out of college, when everybody was just booking to Chicago. And I know a lot of people still do book to Chicago.
Yeah.
But it's becoming a really good option. So
But
we'll see where Amazon goes.
But if it did end up bringing something like that, and there was a legit shot, I think you would see, when they talk about White Flight, you would see White Flight returning back to Detroit too. That could be game changing for sure.
Yeah, it'd be huge. So yeah, use our Amazon affiliate link. You'll find it on DetroitCast.com. Also, Zott Ford needs your trade-in. The hottest sales staff in Oakland County has sold so many pre-owned vehicles, they must restock the lot. If you own an incredibly nice vehicle and want more cash than you think it's worth, take it to Zott Ford in Holly right now. Also, check out a new 17 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive, leasing for as low as $188 a month, only from Zott Ford and dealsinthed.com. Mike, we have posts.
What do we got?
I've received some posts. I have several people obviously finishing up their vacations, getting us late vacation posts. And here's one from Tom in Oregon. He's on the Oregon coast. Gentlemen, greetings from Oregon. There are a lot of meth heads and sea lions here.
Cool.
I remember going through Oregon
They said that on a
as a
postcard?
kid. That's not the fact. That's
Oh,
what
I was going to say, it
yeah,
seems like a
people
weird
write,
fact.
People write on postcards.
Oh.
Tom says there's a lot of meth heads and sea lions here. Our trip would have been better if some asshole kid hadn't set most of the state on fire. I didn't realize Oregon was up in flames right now.
The whole coast is basically.
Only you can prevent forest fires, points out Tom. But beautiful landscape. Jay, you have to come check out the Vancouver Aquarium, says Texas Snooki. They have this big-ass fish named Skana, and she loves doing crazy tricks.
Yeah,
so I guess Vancouver hasn't caught up to SeaWorld in the States, closing this shit down.
Man.
So we've got a typical orca, really a run-of-the-mill orca, if we're being honest with ourselves, doing the old leap out of the water.
Yep. Someone give me a fish, please. I could go get millions on my own, but since you'll only give me one at a time, I suppose I'll leap out of the water.
Well, you know, the killer whale Skana propels herself high out of the water during a performance at the new $1.5 million pool. Skana is very intelligent and gentle and has an appetite to consume 120 pounds of fish per day.
Oh, yeah.
In that little pool.
You know what's bigger than a $1.5 million pool? The ocean! You know how many more pounds of fish there are in the ocean versus whatever they decide he wants to eat?
Yeah. Quite a lot.
God, dude. And they said he's smart, so he knows he's in jail.
Yeah. Well, that's why they go psycho.
Yeah, of course they do. I love when they go psycho.
Larissa writes in from Old Mackinac Point Lighthouse. You've probably seen this many times, right?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful lighthouse.
Sure.
It's on the point there. Built in 1892, the Old Mackinac Port Lighthouse continued in service until 1957 when the Mackinac Bridge opened. It's located in Mackinac City, Michigan, and overlooks the Straits of Mackinac. The lighthouse is open to the public. Hello, fine sirs. Thought you enjoyed this post of the Old Mackinac Point Lighthouse. Picked it up on our lovely family trip to the great city of Mackinac. If this doesn't scream property of TDC, I don't don't know what does. Winky face!
There's
Larissa.
no way they would sell us that, dude.
I know,
Not
it's
at a
too
reasonable
nice.
rate.
It has like a little castle next to it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Hello again, says Larissa from the historic community of St. Ignace.
Nice.
Also picked up this post.
Sulaks? Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's, no, that's Sault Ste. Marie.
yeah,
St.
it's
Ignace
the
is right.
Sioux.
Sorry.
St. Ignace
spell it?
was
No.
founded by Father Marquette in 1671, and it's at the northern end of the Mackinac Bridge. It is the gateway to Michigan's Upper Peninsula.
You know, Nana
Let me see it.
grew up in a time before the bridge, and she would recall stories if you asked her about having to wait hours for the ferry
Oof.
to go across.
Back usually they would just like skinny dip across for a while. That's what Nana told me. Like back before that bridge was built.
Jay-
Look at these poops.
Jay emails
Yeah, it's
in
cool.
concerning episode 899. So let me get this straight. Mike will let anyone come to his funeral and have at his body for the taking. Beth has first dibs on the Panoose.
Yep.
How will this transaction take place? Is she going to take it before your body gets taken from the house or wherever the death occurs? Will she have the funeral director fashion the noose for her own necklace before the showing? Will the body be open to the public to extract whatever body part they want?
No.
Well, he said you can burn the body. He wanted his body burned.
I
except
want the body
Panoose.
torched.
But she
I
gets
said,
to keep the Panoose.
I said, if you want to keep the Panoose, go ahead.
At
But
what
take
point
it.
does she get the Panoose?
Well, after I'm dead. I mean, I don't want her taking it before I drop.
Is
But
there anything else we could take off you? You got beautiful, deep brown
yeah,
eyes.
my eyes are
they're
gross.
Oh,
Fucking
they're
hate
lovely.
Brown eyes. Ugh.
Got
no,
good teeth.
I-
Mike's
I-
got good teeth.
I imagine I'm going to be on a slab somewhere, and they're going to go, you want to identify the body? And she doesn't even need to go with like the head. She could just lift up to the panoose and be like, "Yeah, that's him." Let me
There's
just
that little guy.
Let me just grab your scalpel really quick. I'm just going to need a couple things, and then it's like, don't put me in a room, like wheel me in on my table, and I'm just laying there all pale and weird looking. Just throw me in the box to burn me, because I learned another thing over the weekend. And Gary, the dead body expert, could back me up on this. But apparently, when they dress you, when it's like, oh, well, if they don't have anything to wear, we can find a nice dress for Nana to wear. And it's like, oh, okay, that'd be very nice. That's a beautiful dress. And you pull them out, and they're all like hospital gowns. Like they're totally slit down the back. So they just kind of like drape them over you and fold it under. Because
Oh, man.
it's not like anyone's going to roll the body
Right.
over and see what's going on behind it. So it's like, we don't need to stitch this thing up, you know? I was like, fuck, everything about this sounds horrible.
Yeah, the whole showing thing, it's just, is that outmoded? Or can we be done with that?
Well, I was asking Beth on the way there, I was like, I'm being serious. Like, this has to be based in some sort of religious thing, like
No, it's people who want closure. Like, there they are. Yes, they are dead. That person has died.
Did we have a problem with people not trusting it when it was
I think
yeah,
that's the
he's dead?
psychological thing behind it. I think that's why you do it. Like, yes. Okay.
Really?
Yes, they've gone from life to death. I can accept that now. There they are. That's it.
It just seems unnecessary. Like, I would have believed you. Like, if you said, oh, man, it's terrible news, so-and-so passed away, I'd be like, oh, at no point would I be like, bullshit.
I know.
I need proof.
I'm good on that, too.
I need proof.
Not proof, but just so, you can get your head around it.
I had no problem getting my head around it.
Mark writes in, King, I took my life burdens to the small town farm fair and ran into an unforeseen parenting moment. How do you explain the concept of a fidget? Not to mention how these magical creatures should be treated in our modern society.
Yeah.
To complicate things,
Was this a petting zoo they were at?
said fidget was a star performer in the main event of the fair's wrestling show. Jesus,
wow.
you want to pull that guy over? It was all geared toward the kids, with the bad guys to be booed and the good guys cheered. The resident good guy was being beaten up by two villains. The crowd was distressed until our hero, a tanned, tatted, shredded fidget, came to save the day. Arriving on a miniaturized Harley chopper, Big Bruce got involved in the fracas. The tides turned and the good guys overcame adversity, and the crowd went home happy.
Wow.
Do we have Emmy?
I can't pull that over there. It's on the screen, though. They can look
Okay,
at it. If
good.
you're watching on YouTube, you can see it.
Why can't you pull it over
That's
there?
because it's not how it works.
That's just not how it
Oh,
works.
because it's coming from Jay's computer? Is that why?
Yeah.
Well,
My
I want to
kids-
fucking see it.
My kids loved it, but now I have to deal with their questions about fidgets, including inquiries focused on the following. The bad guys hurled insults at Big Bruce as part of the show. They threw Big Bruce around, pancaked him with huge slams, etc. Standard fidget fare. Funny to you and me, but something they should not be bringing back to school. I guess I'm that parent now, corrupting other kids. It was our first live wrestling event, but it won't be our last. Everyone had a great time. Pictures for your reference, Mark. Here's a second one.
Dude,
Look at Big Bruce in action. Look at Big Bruce in action on the turnbuckle. I mean, he's flat out kicking some ass.
Yeah, which is why they're usually tethered to something. I mean, they're violent by nature. I don't like seeing one on a hog either. That guy was on a
He was on a mini chopper.
he was on a chopper for sure, and I didn't see anything that had him chained to a post or a wall. That guy could have taken off at any moment. Have that thing loose in the wild on a motorcycle and kicking people's asses. I know a lot of people sending me screenshots from the Kid Rock show. Apparently, his circus-esque open
Yeah.
features a fidget.
Yeah.
And people were like, okay, I'm going to hell now as you're screenshotting and sending me these pictures of this little guy.
Sean writes in, listening to poem number 898. And let's see here. What some of the ex-Kid stars are doing, I think this came up with Aaron Carter. Kind of like, dude, you're a Kid star, just move on. I'd like to take you back to the 80s when cartoons were on Saturday morning, and one of the local stations had a short show during commercials called Kid Bits. Remember Kid Bits?
I actually think I remember this.
I believe the show was done by the Detroit Science Center. I didn't realize that. They would do stupid 30-second science shit, such as the diver in a 2-liter bottle filled with water. You would squeeze the one end of the bottle, and the diver would go to the other end. Remember that dumb shit with baking soda or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, as the crow flies, right? The guy
Throw on Kid Bits. Give me a picture of it. Let me see if I can get a visual.
The guy doing it was named Gary Ed Mock. Mock. He became an ISO auditor, so he went out and got a normal job as an ISO auditor, was the auditor for our family business. He didn't like to talk about the Kidbit days. Perhaps he had he had a run-in at a bike shop. Anyway, here's a pic of the guy from back in the day. Thanks again for the almost 900 poems. And here's to another successful 900 pieces of podcast poetry.
Oh, my God. I totally
remember that guy, right?
Yes.
Imagine that guy walking into your business as an auditor.
Wow.
Hey, aren't you
But
the
see,
Kidbits guy?
Was Kidbits just in Detroit? Was that
don't know.
was that local? Because
Syndicated? I don't know.
Yeah, if that was like, I wouldn't think of him as like he's older. He's not going to be like famous to the level of some of those teeny bopper stars that flame out in glorious fashion.
Yeah.
Like that guy would have never, thought he was such the shit.
All right, give us an optical illusion here. Kidbits, optical illusions. What do we have?
Sure. Have you ever heard the saying that the hand is quicker than the eye? What do you think that means? Could your hand move fast enough to fool your eye?
Those cards are stuck together.
Then,
Knew it.
do you really see what you think you see?
I
Could there
remember
really
those.
be stairs like this anywhere in the world?
MC Escher
what
classic.
kind of picture
Yep.
is this? The answer is that this picture is an illusion.
Isn't that where you visited? Isn't there a staircase
Next,
like that?
we have.
In
When
Cambridge
was the
or
last
whatever?
time that you saw a
No.
really good moonrise? No, not a sunrise, but a moonrise. Well, the information
talking
for
about,
it is
Gary?
listed in the paper every day.
And on the last Kidbits feature,
Here is a drawing for you to examine. Do you see
Whoa.
two gray triangles in this picture?
I see
One
a Star
on top
David
of
and
the other?
Pac-Man's.
Kidbits will
you
return
guys
after
see?
these messages.
I saw two triangles.
You didn't see the Pac-Man's?
I didn't. I had very little time to look at that. I'm not
Go back.
exactly sure.
Come on, man. It was Pac-Man's.
Kevin writes in, Kevin G, to be specific. Look up, locate, and step to the side. Okay, I'm not clever enough to come up with nicknames for you three, but last night I was watching the Werner Herzog documentary Into the Inferno. About 10 minutes in, a guide tells the filmmakers what to do if the volcano they are filming happens to erupt while they are on the rim. He states, do not run or cover your head. Face the eruption. And almost verbatim, he says, look up, locate any lava that might be headed at you. If it's headed directly for you, then step to the side.
No way.
Gentlemen, is this a stolen public service announcement?
Wow.
Possible?
I've never heard that before in my life. I swear on my life.
Kurt writes
Is
in,
it possible that this son of a bitch listens to the Detroit cast and went, boy, that genius PSA for the tree falling thing would work just as well with my lava situation?
Kurt writes in with a idea for an E on the Street segment. Hey, Al, next time clowns have a street protest about it or whatever, send E to interview the clowns while wearing a, quote, I was molested by a clown frowny face t-shirt.
I don't know how often they protest or where they do, I guess, but
Pull that picture over, E. I want to see if Jay sees the Pac-Mans.
Pac-Mans. Yeah, I see Pac-Mans.
See?
Yeah, but you see the triangles, right?
Of course.
Okay.
I said I see the Star David and 3 Pac-Mans.
What's the trick? What are we not
I don't remember
supposed
what
to
he
see?
was. I don't. He was going to be after the commercial. I
Oh,
think. He was gonna-
Gary.
Yeah.
A-Dub writes in, our trivia night runner-up, who we mentioned earlier in the show. Greetings, gentlemen. First and foremost, hats off to you guys for hosting an amazing event. Kayla and I had a great time, his lady friend. Second, we are both so appreciative of that effing prize. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and all that shit. Third, not to get all mushy and whatnot, but the DCast Monsters are a great group of people. As different as we are, it's so cool that we have the same sense of humor. Last, AA Ron is my new hero. Why would that be? E, I'm glad you like tomatoes. This is the guy who brought E a bag full of tomatoes.
And he just started eating them on the spot.
Mike and Jay, props to you both for starting and continuing something real. Goodbye, BUI, A-Dub.
He was a super nice guy. So was his girl.
Yes,
Actually enjoyed
I would
them.
agree with that. Brian writes
Deservedly
in.
so in his win, too. He was great.
Brian writes in concerning trivia. Hey, Jay, I know a lot of monsters weren't able to make it to Hamlin Pub on Saturday. I would love to hear some of the trivia questions from that night so I can play at home and compare to the winning scores. Not sure how many questions there were, but at least some would be fun. Always listening, Brian. In fact, there were 150 questions, and I'm going to prepare a separate answer key, and we're going to post those on the website at some point soon.
Yeah.
So you can have your TDC trivia at home game.
And I think you've already got those, if I'm not mistaken, in like a PDF of the questions.
I have the
So
questions.
it's
just a matter of going through, providing a separate answer key,
Right.
and then getting that on the website. So that'll happen.
The point I had in saying that is we're not starting from scratch. Jay is already well down the field with the ball.
Yeah, we'll
so
get
those
that.
will be up soon.
Lastly, we'll save the rest for tomorrow.
Perfect.
Did you not have one more you wanted to do? All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for hanging with us. Anything else we need to mention? Is there anything coming up this week we need to mention, Jay? Or go Lions tonight. If you're listening to us live right now, go Lions. It'd be nice to get off to a 2-0 start. So with that, we'll talk all about it tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.